Welcome to Fulfillment in Faith, where we will dive deep into self-discovery, empowerment, and manifesting the life you desire. I'm your host, Shannon Mondor, and through my own experiences with addiction, sobriety, and personal growth, I've learned invaluable lessons that I'm passionate about sharing with you. Now let's start creating a life you love. Hello, everyone. My name is Shannon Mondor, and welcome to my podcast, Fulfillment in Faith. I am extremely excited because I have got the most beautiful soul, and her name is Amy Attridge. And I met Amy at the Secret Knock Women's Conference down in San Diego. Not only did her absolutely beautiful fire red hair attract me to her, but her just her being such a genuine soul. She's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful individual. And as she speaks, you are going to resonate with her, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So at this time, I do want to introduce Amy. Amy, thank you for coming on my podcast. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be on your podcast. Thank you for inviting me. I always love jumping on these, telling my experience, helping where I can. So I appreciate the opportunity. It's a great day.
Well, it's actually an honor more for me to have you because with my guests that come onto my podcast, there's so much that the audience learns from, but I also learn as well. And that's all a part of my journey. And I know that. So yes, but you know what? Let's get going on this interview here. And Amy, if you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you are from, and a little bit about your background, and then if you wouldn't mind going right into your story.
Okay, great. I'm Amy Attridge. I grew up in a small town in Washington State, Quincy, Washington, small farming town. Everybody knows everybody. You kind of live in that fishbowl. If anybody's ever lived in a small town, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I grew up in a very strict Mormon household. And I played sports, a lot of sports growing up. My dad was my coach. I was involved in music. I played the piano. I had a great childhood, I would say. I ended up going to play basketball, college basketball, and I wound up getting married from there. Moved to Nevada, and we moved to Arizona first, then Nevada. Wound up having 2 kids, and I found myself at 234 pounds at that time in my life. And I woke up one morning. It was actually my daughter, my oldest daughter, who thought I was still pregnant after a year of having a child. Like, it kind of woke me up. Kids are a little too honest at points, but I'm grateful she did that, because it kind of just woke me up into this reality of, like, what am I doing with my mind, my health? What example am I setting for my children? So I decided to get to work. I lost the weight. That brought me into more of the personal training realm. I decided to become a personal trainer. And at first, people were telling me, you should be a personal trainer. You should help people. You've been coached. You've coached people in basketball. We really feel like you could help people. And I didn't really take it serious at first. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll be a personal trainer, whatever. But it wasn't until I had a friend started working out with me and I was able to help her. And I really enjoyed that process of helping her and coaching her through that. So I decided to become a personal trainer. I started my own personal training company, eventually under construction, personal training. And I've helped hundreds, maybe even into the thousands with my online programs, my one-on-one sessions of helping people get into shape. what I figured out through all of the years, so it's been over 12 years now, that I was doing just as much coaching on the mental and the spiritual side of things as I was the physical. And I really fell in love with, talking with my clients afterwards, or talking with my clients in between sessions, coaching them on mindset, on transformation, what is true transformation, because you can have the body, but if you don't have the mind to match, what really is it? That's not a true transformation. And so I just recently, as of like 6 months ago, decided to finally open up my life coaching business. And so it's really great. It goes hand in hand with my personal training business. It's Energy Soul Coaching. And what that looks like is I take one-on-one clients once a week or in group sessions, and really get to work on some like action, digging deep, doing some deep work, all of that. And yeah, so that's kind of me, like in a nutshell, how it was pretty much the short version of it, but I hope that all makes sense.
But there would have been like you said, there was that pivotal moment with your daughter, with her being, children's honesty in that. Um, and what was holding you back up to that point, do you really feel?
My husband at the time worked out of town a lot. I was really lonely. I turned to food, which is, now looking back and knowing and working with so many people, that I was overeating because I was craving connection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Connection, with my husband at the time, connection with friends. I was alone with the children a lot, kind of more isolated. And being a former athlete, I was almost ashamed that I had let myself get to that point. So I was doing a lot of excuses, a lot of talking myself out of it. And a lot of the time in the Mormon culture, when I was still in the Mormon church at that time, it's a lot of food. Every time you get together, there's food. There isn't much of like a healthy lifestyle really preached um, or suggested in the Mormon culture. I think it's getting better now, but at that time it was, kind of very unhealthy as far as like food goes, and as far as like taking care of yourself. So I think I lost that belief in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I also was going through a transition of really figuring out who I was. And nothing against my parents. My parents are amazing people, but I grew up on a testimony of my parents and what they believed.
Yeah.
And so I was really going through this. What do I believe? What do I want for my family? What do I want for my children? And I was, in my family, one of the first people to leave the Mormon church. I think, and I'm not saying anything against the Mormon church. There are really great people in there. For some people, it really works for them. For me, it just wasn't working. And so I think it was all bundled up into that as to why I wasn't taking action.
And the biggest reason why I wanted to get you to why I asked you that question so you could dig a little deeper, is because there are so many people out there that are in the exact same situation that you are, right?
Mhm.
And they're so unhappy, and they're at that point where they're looking at their weight and they don't know what to do or where to go. But the biggest thing is you have to really sit with yourself, and you need to figure it out. Why am I here? Just
Mhm.
like I wrote my book, How in the Hell Did I Get Here? That's
Mhm.
what you have to do, is how in the hell did I get here? And then
Mhm.
once you figure that out, and a lot of it is, like you said, it's generational beliefs.
Mhm.
And where you've got resistance in that towards that, that's because that's not your belief. That's most likely generational. And that's what I want people to really understand, that those beliefs that your grandparents and your parents and that have, they do not have to be yours, because you can change a belief in absolute instant,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And through your entire journey up to this point, what do you feel is the most important that you've learned that you want to share with the audience?
I think patience, honestly, patience has been the biggest thing that I've learned. Right now, we live in this world of instant gratification. Okay, we want instant results. And if something isn't working, we're quick to change it, right? And what I learned in my weight loss journey, personal training journey, coaching business, starting businesses and everything, it has everything to do with consistency and patience. And if you can be patient in the things that you're being consistent with, because you're not going to see results right away.
No.
Anything that, like, starting a business, writing a book, did you instant gratification for that?
And
No.
anything that is going to change you totally and completely, it takes time. Like
Mhm.
transforming doesn't happen overnight, because you have to grow into that individual that you want to be. So you got to climb the ladder, you got to take action steps. There's
Mhm.
a gestation period in there too, and that's where the faith and the belief comes in within that gestation period. So
Mhm.
it's transforming, it's becoming the one. And it takes patience, it takes perseverance, it takes will. There's just so many things added to it.
Mhm. I like to give my clients the analogy of the tree, right? When you go to chop down a tree, right? You have a big axe, you're going at it. You don't hit the tree in all these different spots, right?
Right.
You hit the tree at the exact same spot every time. And it goes down faster that way rather than hitting it every which way, right?
Hmm.
And being patient in that time and sitting with that is is really difficult. People have a hard time with that.
Hmm.
And they need that validation that they're making the right moves. But really, if you are living in your purpose, you will make the right moves.
Hmm.
You will. And you won't even know how you're going to do it. I'm sure when you started writing a book, you didn't have this perfect pathway of how you were going to do it. But guess what? You were patient and you figured it out on the way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it was that for me. Writing my book was an absolutely beautiful process, and I found it so easy
Mhm.
to write my book. Like I wrote my book in under three months. Um,
Mhm.
and the funny thing was, when I did sit down on the computer and wrote chapter after chapter, I didn't even know what I was going to be writing. So I very much was being channeled. And
Mhm.
after I was done my book, I read my book and I was like, oh my gosh, did all this stuff happen to me? Like, is this normal? And then I came to the realization, like, no, this is not normal. And I knew then at that point in time that there was a totally bigger purpose for me and that I needed to share that. And that's why, I kept on going, because I knew that I was being drawn to go forward, forward, forward. And I still am. I can feel it. I know what it feels like. I've got definitely that connection between me and God for sure. There's no doubt. No doubt.
Oh
And
yeah.
biggest thing is I trust and I believe in myself.
Mhm.
100%.
You have to be your biggest fan, like we were talking about. You have to be your biggest fan and you have to believe in yourself, number one, or you're
Mhm.
setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly. So on that note, Amy, anybody that's going through this process right now, is that the advice you would give them, or what advice would you give them?
I think anybody that's going through the process right now and shedding, I know we've all had things that have happened to us, right? But what really turned it around for me when I was able to love the experiences, all the experiences that shaped me.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about all. So, there's some pretty, messed up things that have happened to me in my lifetime. But how do we heal from that is we don't just love the person we're trying to become, right? We don't just say, okay, well, when I become this perfect version of myself, I'll love that person. No, the person that you were, the person that was in survival mode deserves to be loved.
Mhm.
And all those experiences that shaped you into the person that you are today deserve to be loved too. So now I can think about the experiences that have happened to me, and I can say, I love that person that was in survival mode. I, could have life been different and that not happened to me? Yeah, but you know what? I've come to appreciate every experience that's molded me into this person I am today, because I would not be, the personal trainer I am. I would not be the coach that I am, the mother, the fiance that I am. There would be missing pieces. And so learning to love not only whatever version of yourself you have in your head that you're trying to achieve, right? It's not loving that person, it's loving the every person, every version of yourself leading up to now.
Yep. And I agree with you 100% because self-love, you have to take responsibility for all your past and future actions, but it's also acceptance of who you were then and where you are now.
Mhm.
That is so strong. And when you can see all of that and accept all of that, that's when self-love comes in.
Mhm.
And that's where you can also look at other people as well too, and you have less judgment, you have more compassion, you have forgiveness for them too, because you can even go further down the line and see, oh, this is why this person is like this, because I've experienced it and I can see it and I know where they're feeling because I've been where they are. And that's why you're a coach and that's why I'm a coach, you know what I mean? Because we've experienced these things.
I can look at somebody and be like, yeah, that was me 10 years ago.
Yep, exactly.
Mhm.
Yep. And instead of judging them now, it's like, oh my goodness, I want to help you. I want to
Yeah,
help
you
you.
just want to wrap your arms around them. I always think of like those versions of myself, and I always think of me standing here or sitting here now, wrapping my arms around that person saying, everything's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. Yeah. But it will be okay if you sit in stillness and then you listen to what your intuition
Yes,
is telling you.
yes,
People don't want to do, they miss that step
yes, they do all
because
the
because
time.
they look to the outside world for it, and that's not
Yeah,
where it is. It, believe
yeah.
me, people, it's not where it is. You need to sit and you need to start dealing with the hard issues of your past.
Mhm,
That's what's going to get you to love yourself and to go forward in a positive manner that you're meant to be.
mhm.
And there's no
Absolutely.
cheating that. There is no cheating that.
Mhm, mhm. I really have this theory, and I've heard it from a couple of people too that believe the same that I do, but I'm a real advocate for mental health, and really push on working on that, the mental side of things, the spiritual side of things. And nowadays everybody has a mental illness, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has bipolar, everybody has a mood disorder or something.
Anxiety, depression.
Exactly. And I don't want to take away from, there is real bipolar out there. There is real mood disorders, personality disorders. I do not want to take anything away from that. But I was somebody too that was diagnosed bipolar too. And what I figured out is I was not bipolar too. I just wasn't living in my purpose. Therefore, anxiety was showing up, depression was showing up, all of this craziness going on in my head showing up. So it really makes me think like, how many people actually have bipolar or just, mood disorders or personality disorders, or how many people are just not living in their purpose
Yeah.
and doing the things that they know they need to do. And so it's easy to slap a label on things. Well, I'm not doing that because I'm bipolar. I'm not doing that because, I have a personality disorder. It's easy to do that. What's not easy is to do the work.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
That's
now
the
I
thing. They
sit
want
here.
change. That is so true. They want change so desperately, but yet they are not willing to invest in themselves because they don't feel worthy enough and they're not ready to receive. Yeah, and it really shocks me because they want change, but they're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to change what's going on inside, and that is the number one key.
Mhm.
Have to change what's going on within you.
There's not enough emotional leverage at that point, is what, I like to call it.
Mhm.
And I think I got that from probably like Tony Robbins or something. He talks a lot about emotional leverage, in emotion to what you really want.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then it doesn't mean as much to you.
Well, that's the thing. Like you pick 10 people, 9 out of the 10 people don't have a clue of what they want. They'll go,
That's a thing too.
yeah, they don't have a clue of what they want. And
I
then that
used to be
one,
one of them.
and then yeah, exactly. We've lived that. And then that one person will kind of know what they want, but they can't actually see it.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. We really have to sit down and we have to decide what is it that we want in the world because we're the only one that can create that.
Mhm.
But yet too many of us are worried about what Jones is next door and what they've got. And, so we get caught up in all of that.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
people can understand, it all stems from what do you want?
Mhm.
And then from there, the universe brings it to you.
Yeah,
We
and
only need to
really,
worry about the what and the why. And the why has to be so dang strong. Like my why is so dang strong, nothing's stopping me because I know what I
Mhm.
want and I know my why. Why
Mhm.
do I want
Mhm.
this?
Yeah. And
That's the
and to
driving
be
force.
honest, yeah, and to be honest, people really don't care. People are busy with their own lives. We focus on, well, what's everybody going to say and all of this, and 90% of the people are so busy with their own lives that they don't care. And here we go, like setting this, judgment on ourselves and being scared of what other people were going to think. And it's so funny how we can build these things up in our heads. And that's why we like to say, or I like to say, is you kill the monster while it's small,
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
before you let those things build up in your head, just like assuming things, like you can assume, or you can actually go and get evidence for what you're assuming, or maybe not getting evidence. And we talked about that at Secret Knock for Women.
Hmm.
Do you actually have evidence for the story that you're telling yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, this was such a lovely interview, Amy. I have loved every minute of it with you. And on a final note, Amy, where are you now? Tell the audience where you are now.
I am in a yes season. Like, I'm in this, I am going all in on my business, all in on my relationships, all in on my life. Like, I'm in this yes era, you know. In order to find out what you want, you have to figure out what you don't want.
Right.
And so I'm in this, yes, I'll go to that meeting. Yes, I'll meet with you. Yes, and I've really figured out what I've wanted in the process, and now here I am with my coaching business, seeing clients on a weekly basis. So I'm just grateful for people like you, people that I'm really into that higher vibration, because if you're not, if you're not at the same level or a higher vibration as me, I'm probably not going to pay a lot of attention unless I'm helping you.
Hmm.
I'm really probably not going to pay a lot of attention to what you say or take really a lot of advice from you. So continuing to surround myself with people that I want to emulate my life after is super important to me. So that's where I'm at. I'm in a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And when Amy says that, she doesn't mean it in a rude way or anything like that, because
Oh,
I
no,
know
no, no,
exactly
no.
what she's talking about. But some
Oh,
people
yeah.
might take it the wrong way. But no,
Yeah, yeah. Like, I
that,
mean, no
that's
harm.
not what it is at all.
No, not,
Yeah.
and yes, I could understand why it would come across that way. That means nothing against anyone, or this is just my journey that I'm on. Respect anybody and where they're at in their journey.
Yeah.
And 100%.
So what you want to do is you want to surround yourself, like me, with people that are higher elevation people that I'm going to learn off of.
Yes,
And then from me being taught by them, that gets me to where they are. And then the next thing you know, I'm put in another environment where there's people that know even more. So then I elevate even more. And then from all of these experiences, this is what I teach.
Mhm. And we have that those people that you help, okay? We can't like neglect those
No,
people, whatever. And that's not what I'm talking about here.
that's our purpose.
That's our purpose. That's everything. We're talking about if you want to go to the next level, if you want to, to really take your life into on a road that's pleasing to you.
Yeah, it's a simple scenario. If you want to be a millionaire, you go to environments where millionaires hang out.
Mhm.
You start dressing like a millionaire. You
Mhm.
start feeling like a millionaire. You put
Mhm.
yourself in rooms where you actually talk to millionaires, and eventually you will become a millionaire because you're growing into that part, that version of you that is a millionaire. Same thing.
Yep. Yep.
Another scenario too is don't ever take advice from people that have never experienced anything that you have. Only take advice from people that have experienced the exact same thing that you have and have grown and elevated from that.
That was
I
probably
never
a
take advice.
better way to put it than
I
what I put
never,
it as.
I never take advice from people that have not gone through what I've gone through and that are on a higher elevation than me.
You said exactly what I was trying to say, but only better.
Yeah. But that's the problem. Most people take advice from people that have never experienced it because they're like, geez, what do you think?
Mhm.
Don't give a shit what people think if they haven't experienced what you're going through. Those are the
Exactly.
last people you want to talk to regarding that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
this is so fun. We could, I got to let the audience know that with my members, I always do a meet and greet prior. And me and Amy, we hit it off like immediately.
Mhm.
And now we've got a couple events coming up in the future where I'm actually going to meet her in person. And that's like I've done with, other guests on my podcast. And it's just absolutely wonderful and amazing. So I can't wait till September. And then I'm looking forward to March coming up. And, where's this going
You'll
to take
be here in November, right? In,
November?
in Phoenix.
Yeah, yes, November. Yes, when I go to get my book award. Yes, and we're gonna hook up there too, which we have to make plans because I've got everything booked as well too. So I'm so excited. See, we're building a friendship. Who would have
Yes,
thought, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I love about podcasting, right? Like all these different people that you meet literally from all over Canada, the US. I've got friends now that I've created, in England, and it's amazing. And I'm going to England in August, and I'm actually going to meet up with, one of the women there, and it's just fun, fun, fun.
Mhm. I love it.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Now, at this time, Amy, thank you so much for being on my podcast. And I want to ask the audience members that if any of you resonate with this podcast, please share, like, subscribe, send it to a friend. And thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, Amy.
Thank you so much. I sure appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well. Thank you for tuning into Fulfillment and Faith. If you're ready to take your faith and empowerment to the next level, connect with me at shannonmondor.com. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Together, we can create the lives we love. Until next time, stay empowered and keep the faith.